Heather Mayfield. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So you're here for the operations manager position?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so just tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've worked in healthcare for 7 years. I'm currently enrolled in getting my RHIT. I will be completed in May and will be eligible to sit for my RHIT there. I currently work as the HIM lead at Physician Specialty in Fayetteville.
Okay.
And what do you think your strengths and weaknesses are?
I would say my strengths are I admit when I make a mistake. I don't look for an excuse. I own it. I look at a mistake as a time to grow, something I can learn so that I don't continue to make that same mistake. A weakness is I tend to be a bit of a perfectionist, so something that could be simple to some people, I will make it harder trying to make it the absolute best that I can.
All right. I just want to know how you have dealt with conflict in the past, in your past position.
Well, before I was in management, I had a difficult situation with a coworker, so I followed chain of command. I went to my direct supervisor when that didn't work, and I went to her again. She instructed me to go to HR, and I took the issue to HR.
Very good. All right, Heather, thanks so much.
We'll let you know.
Sonia, hi.
Hi.
Hello. All right.
Hi.
Hello.
So you are here for the medical records clerk position, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So why don't you tell us a little bit of why you left your last position?
So that I could go to school. At first I thought I wanted to do nursing, and the more I got into it, and that just wasn't my thing, fluids and all of that.
Right.
So I found that I was quite interested in the workings of the offices.
Okay. Awesome.
Can you give us some of the responsibilities you did at First Care South?
First I worked in the office to where I answered phones, dealt with patients, took their co-pays, made appointments. And then shortly after that, I transferred over into the billing and insurance office where I helped code for 5 doctors. And then did their insurance claims, helped patients when they came back in, when they had a problem with the insurance and why it wasn't being, paid. And then I also worked into the back portion of the offices where I would get the patients' height, weight, blood pressure, and then take them back for their x-rays, draw blood on them, order their test.
Okay. Sonia, what are your goals for the future?
Well, I know I'm starting out as the medical clerk, is where I want to start, to just gain the experience and stuff that needed, but eventually I would either like to go into the payment side, the revenue cycle of the business office, or actually maybe one day just manage or be a supervisory over
Okay.
the office.
Great. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Haley Watts.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. My name is Haley. I am currently in school at NWACC, getting my degree in the HIM department and trying to get my RHIT credential. I'm a lover of all foods, animals, dogs, whatnot, yeah. So just a bubbly person.
Very good.
Can you tell us a few of the responsibilities you had at the urgent care facility you worked at?
Okay, yeah. I was a receptionist and checkout clerk, so I handle all the patients up front with their billing and their Medicaid referrals and co-pays and making the appointments and getting all the registration and information and insurance and answering phone calls and mostly transferring back to the nurses.
Okay. I'm sure that's a busy place to work. How about conflict? Did you have to deal with that, and how did you deal with it?
We did for a little bit, yes. There was a coworker who was taking a lot of time off, and it wasn't just vacations and sick and everything. It was last minute, so there was some conflict of having me and another employee coming in working all of his 40-hour shift while working hours while also being in school. So there was that conflict in having to figure out who can work when and trying to talk to our boss about what was going on, also keeping her informed of what was happening.
Okay.
Thank
Bailey.
you.
Amber Edwards.
Hello.
Hi. All right, so you're here for the central coding clerk position, correct?
That's right.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right, well, currently I am going to school in my RHIT certification, and I'm going to be concurrently working on my CPC licensure too.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
Can you tell us what interests you about our coding position?
I am really interested in coding because I like the aspect of looking at medical records, understanding the parts of them, and I really enjoy matching those codes to what the medical record requires.
And how do you deal with conflicts?
Conflicts, well, in veterinary care management was my former position, and mainly I managed the employees and hiring, firing, and schedules and stuff. That was a big issue. Conflicts came up often because it was a small staff, and there were, a lot of hours that had to be covered with a small staff. So there were issues with that a lot, and just interpersonal conflict. So my way of dealing with that was just to be pretty upfront with people and say there's a problem, let's talk it out, and let's try to find a solution together. So I tried to display empathy, and then from that be able to, seek a resolution to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.